So chapter 14, infancy to childhood. Training objectives. So kini may introduction siya nga story. Si Howard kuno may naay siya son who suffered brain damage during infancy. Howard was unsure how much his son could understand. So despite his son's retarded brain development, he still talked to him about the ways of God. At 3 and a half, the boy still could not speak. So the parents continued to talk to him of God, pray with him, and sought to shepherd him biblically. So one day, the boy required correction and discipline. Howard was perplexed as he tried to explain, not knowing how much his son could grasp. So as he grew more frustrated with the communication process, his son intervened. He spoke his first words were, "Pray, Daddy." So this young child, compromised by brain damage, had been understanding valuable lessons all along. He knew of his father's faith in God. He knew that one turns to God when troubled. He knew that God could help his daddy communicate. So what an illustration of, sandali, hindi ko makita. So what an illustration of the importance of these early years. All right. So this chapter, amo ni siya ang mga subpoints: primary characteristics, understanding authority, circle of blessing, honoring defined, obedience defined, call for consistency, process of appeal, pattern of appeal, the importance of example, shepherding your children in godly attitudes, benefits of learning to be under authority and save time, do it right. So primary characteristics kuno of this period is change. Change, physical change, social, intellectual, spiritual change, no? So primary characteristic is change. The first stage of development muna infancy to childhood encompasses the period from birth to age 4 or 5. So this period can be described in a single word, that is change. With every stage of development, that child astounds his parents with the dramatic change, daghan milestones. So physical, think of the physical changes. The new infant is immobile. He can't lift his head yet. He can't roll over. He cannot sit. Yet, powerful forces are at work in him. In several months lang, he is able to sit, stand, toddling, and even walking. He will learn to run, hop on one foot, climb trees, to do things you are too decrepit to do anymore. Nadili ta na makaya. He develops his capacity to manipulate objects. Soon he can turn doorknobs and release catches. He learns to feed himself. There is no period in life in which physical change is so dramatic during this infancy to early childhood. Social naman. Social change is just as radical. The first social relationship is with his mother. Soon, tayo no, soon, the circle of familiar people widens to include other family members, extended members. He learns his own style of relating to others. He learns what endears him to others. He learns how to seek approval in his ever-widening world of social relationships. And by age 4 or 5, he will have friends of his own na. Intellectual change naman is just as dramatic. The young child is a meaning maker. He hears language and generalizes the rules of grammar. Even his mistakes follow the logical grammar patterns. Example, makaano siyang I think instead of I thought ko, no? Every experience is a learning experience. Curiosity abounds. Why do doors turn on hinges? Do things exist when I don't think about them? Why do things fall to the ground, etc., etc.? So the child also learns to tease, no, to be funny, to be serious. He learns values, what is important and what isn't. So the spiritual change naman, he is developing spiritually. that development may be shepherded along the lines of knowing and loving the true God, or it may be ignored. Both produce spiritual development. Katong i-channel ta siya towards knowing and loving the true God, or i-ignore na nagaproduce gyapon na spiritual development because he is a spiritual creature. He either learns to worship and rely on Jehovah God, the true God, or he learns to bow before lesser gods. So the summary of this, the rapid changes during these early years give parents grandiose ideas about their children. Many parents are sure na their kindergarten children are geniuses. Of course, no? They have to be. They catch on so well. They have learned so much in such a short period of time. Parents are sure there is no limit to this child's capacity. Yan. Change ang primary characteristics. Next, understanding authority. Yeah, one big lesson, Godward focus. So this picture, no, from previous tanga chapter. Understanding authority. With such dramatic changes over a short time, it is easy to lose focus. Where should you put all your energies? Where should we put? We need a single overarching training objective, narrow enough to give firm direction in concrete situations, but broad enough to encompass the changing world of the young child. So one big lesson. The important lesson for the child to learn in this period is that he is an individual under authority. So kung may isa lang yung nga take away for this afternoon, amo ni, he is an individual under authority. He has been made by God and has a responsibility to obey God in all things. The key passage of scripture for this period is, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment, with a promise that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on the earth. Namin, muna siya. So Godward focus, we know that, no? Tung Godward orientation sa mga bata. Notice that obedience is a response to God. Children must learn that they have been made for God, not for us. They have a duty to God. He has the right to rule them. The kids owe obedience to God. Your children will never submit to you without understanding this truth. They will never see living in terms of bringing glory to God. They will just be self-absorbed, the prime objects of worship in their own world. Self-worship. Submission to earthly authority is a specific application of being a creature under God's authority. Submission to God's authority may seem distant and theoretical, no? In theory lang. But mom and dad, however, are present. Obedience to God is reflected in a child's growing understanding of obedience to parents. Yan. So acquaint your child with authority and submission when they are still infants. Kuno, this training starts the day you bring them home from the hospital. These lessons, firmly established in early years, will yield fruit throughout childhood. Establish kuno these principles and you will eliminate the need to have repeated contests over authority with our first teenage driver, sang nag-drive na, we were concerned about the car becoming a social environment that was outside parental control. But ang author, they established clear guidelines. There were rules against having passengers who had not been approved by mom and dad. There were also rules against changes in destination. No, we of course kuno welcome phone calls of appeal kung gusto mo appeal. Na plans can always change. We just didn't want any surprises. We were pleased to get occasional calls to change arrangements and to learn of many times when our son did not take passengers or make runs that had not been approved in advance. He could have done so without our knowledge, but he didn't. We had a teen driver we could trust because of the lessons learned in early childhood. Kasi nasabtan, no? Nasabtan sa bata. So yan, understanding authority. They were made for God. Circle of blessing. Ito, this is also my favorite, no? Circle of blessing. Na. Things go well, safety rather, and the rescue function. Circle of blessing. In Ephesians 6:1-3, God has drawn a circle of great blessing. Children are to live within the circle of submission to parental authority. Submission to parents means honoring and obeying. Within that circle, things will go well and they will enjoy long lives. Things go well. It is imperative that children learn to honor and obey. Dapat yun na ya. It will go well with them. Their obedience is not secured so that you can be obeyed for your sake. Dili nga kanang obey sila kay for our sake. Na you must be obeyed. They should obey us for their sakes, para sa ila ka good, para sa ila ka ayuhan. They are the direct they are themselves, the kids are direct beneficiaries of honoring and obeying mom and dad. The disobedient child has moved outside the circle of blessing kung disobedient siya. And so we as parent must quickly restore the child to the proper relationship with God and the parent. And as the child returns to the circle of blessing, things go well for him. He enjoys long life. Na promise sa Ginoo. Safety rather than danger. The circle of submission to parental authority is the place of safety. That's why also no God's will, no, amo na siyang kwanjud na the fear of the Lord. No, we were taught in sa church, no, in camp, in youth camps, in children's ministry, when we were growing up in the church na the safest place is under the will of God, within the will of God. Amo na siya. So by implication, being outside that circle is a place of danger. It will not go well with him and he will not enjoy a long life. Your child is in danger if he is rebellious and disobedient. You, therefore, must move swiftly, faster, to return him to the circle of protection and safety. I like this comics, no? Na I hate being confined by this fence. I'm jumping over it. Wait, it's not a fence, it's a guardrail. Kaya naku, mamatay na siya di aito. So it's really a true picture, Jod, sang obedience na safety rather than danger. So the rescue function. The function kuno of the rod and the communication is rescue. Correction and discipline moves your child from the peril of rebellion and disobedience back into the circle of safety. That child has not just disobeyed mommy or daddy. He has disobeyed God. He has made himself liable to the discipline and correction that God has appointed for disobedient children. The function of discipline is to restore him to the safety and protection of the circle. I have drawn this circle for my children's course of time. Siling sa author katong kwan. Katong kini na. Pero palagi yan ko niyo gina-draw na. Entreating them, pleading them to willingly submit to authority, explaining that dad was not mad at them, but rather dad was on a rescue mission. And I have asked them, how about you? Amin, no? Oo. So yan, circle of blessing. They should understand that. Honoring defined. Honoring, the parent must train the child to do so, and the parent must be honorable in his conduct and demeanor. Yan. So honoring defined. Honoring parents mean to treat them with respect and esteem because of their position of authority. It is honoring them because of their role of authority. If a child is going to honor his parents, it will be the result of two things. Dapat dalawa. The parent must train him to do so, and the parent must also be honorable in his conduct and demeanor. It is easy to train children to honor parents. It is not easy to train children to honor parents in a culture which no one is honored. Wala lang ko nakakuha sang comic na nga nag-circulate sa social media nga, anak, saan ka punta? Maingon ng bata nga, wala lang. Parang ganyan. Which is really it's not really good. No? It seems funny, but no, it's never biblical. One of the clearest ways to show honor is in the way children speak to their parents. Children must never speak to their parents in imperatives. Imperatives, example nga, cook na. Kung mga anak, cook na ko, no? They must never speak to mom and dad as they would speak to a peer na kanang daw friends lang kamo. They must be taught to express their thoughts in a manner that shows proper respect. So this can be done kindly through statements such as this. I am sorry, dear, but you may not speak to me in that way. God has made me your mother and has said that you must treat me with honor. Now, let's see if there is a respectful way you can express what you wish to say. Or, dear, I am not one of your chums. You may speak to your friends in a flippant manner, but you may not speak to me in that way. Now, what was it that you wanted to say? Or, dear, you cannot give me orders. You may make requests, but you cannot give me orders because God has made me the authority over you. So do not wait for this training until your children are teenagers. If you do, you will suffer the indignity of their disrespect. So deal with this in the first several years. Respectful teenagers are developed when they are 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. First 5 years. Not at 13, 14, 15, or 16. But if you find yourself confronted with disrespectful teens, get these concepts under your belt and talk with them about how you should have raised them. Nga dapat inanita, sorry na wala ta ka na. Yeah. So recently lang, like this week, we have sa pace nila sa ila module may ara na how to say respectfully. So do medyo na apply namon na is that a good way ba mo gina akong struggle sa tutuod lang na very disrespectful, no, for them as sa karon mga inang the way they say, siguro they also see in me na inang very gid do lisod jud siya siguro, no, ever since man. But yeah, it is my this is my prayer request. So example sa parent, dear, I want you to sit down now. Ang child naman, why? Parent, I think you need to slow down a little. Why? Wala gina seryoso. After a few minutes, the mother of this child turned toward me in explanation. Sometimes I just can't get him to be serious. So this boy, was being serious. He knew that his mother wanted cooperation. He was not about to submit to her. So things could have been more serious. So, no? So attention. A parent who is respectful to his children and teaches them with dignity and respect will be respected by his children. So you may not yell at your children. You do not make them your slaves, because suffering indignities from you cannot be a part of submission to authority. Kung suffer indignity sila, gaka-humiliate sila, gaka-kwan sila, gaka-provoke, no, cannot be a part of submission to authority. When you fail to be respectful or courteous or sin against them, you must seek their forgiveness. There is a sowing and reaping principle here, no? Oh, whatever you sow, you shall reap. It is as true in child rearing as it is anywhere Grabe, no? So we have to be to be fearful and cautious. Honoring naman defined. The parent must train the child to do so, and amo na. Amo na to. Obedience naman gali. Sorry. Obedience without challenge, without excuse, kag without delay. Obedience defined. Obedience is out of vogue in our culture today. You can find classes that provide assertiveness training, but try to find classes in submissiveness training, wala. Nako, you have to speak yourself out, no? Obedience is the willing submission of one person to the authority of another. It means more than a child doing what he is told. It means doing what he is told without challenge, without excuse, and without delay. Grabe, no? Often, submission means doing what he doesn't want to do. At least what he doesn't want to do at the moment. No? Ang hindi, pati dili niya gusto, dapat ma-obey siya. So if you rouse your children and announce that you are taking them to an amusement park for the day, you would not regard their cooperation as submission because they are doing what they want. It may be done at the suggestion of their father, but it is not submission. Na, obey your mom. Because it is something they wanted to do. My point is this, ang point kinigali. Submission to authority means that your child will have to do things that he does not wish to do. Submission to authority means that your child will have to do things that he does not wish to do. So you inevitably train your children in obedience. You may train them to obey only after you have yelled, pleaded, or threatened. You may train them to obey only when they wish to. You may not train them to obey at all. Even that is a type of training in obedience. When your directives are met by a discourse about why what you have asked is not fair, your children are not obeying. Mag-ingon sila, why? Na, when you are met with excuses or explanations, because I'm still doing something else, because they are not obeying. When they refuse to respond at once, na mamaya na, napabungol-bungol, they are not obeying. Submission to authority means that they obey without delay, excuse, or challenge. Grabe, no? So it is easy to think unclearly about obedience. Yeah. So, maingon ta nga, my kids are obeying me. No, they are not because without delay, without without delay, without excuse, and at right away, no? Right away. So, it is easy to think unclearly about obedience. When you say to your child, dear, I want you to go to bed now, there's only one appropriate response. It is not, I'll go after I finish coloring this page. It is not also, why do I always have to go to bed so early? It is not to ignore you entirely. There is only one obedient response. Nga correct response. It is to go to bed without delay. If you accept any other response, you are training your children to disobey. Remember what is at stake, that it go well with your children and that they enjoy a long life. So they must honor and obey kuno. So without challenge, without excuse, and without delay. Grabe, no? Oo. So mo na siya actually gina-emphasize to sa school nila ni Elijah previously, that's nga very hard yun, pero we will learn later na where the grace of God will come in. Ha? So muna siya, and I believe that. That's because it's in the Bible. Call for consistency naman. Call for consistency. Consistent. The serious parent must be prepared to swim upstream. As our culture has lost any semblance of submission to authority, you must be consistent. You must train your children to obey through careful discipline and precise instruction. The rules have to be the same each day. If they must obey, you must challenge disobedience and persevere until the lessons of submission are learned. Victory does not come to the faint of heart. You will rarely witness resolute willpower such as you find in a toddler who has determined not to obey. Grabe, no? Nako. We are all witnesses to that, ha? Kita mismo, ako mismo, ha? Grabe. Mga bata, everywhere, because we are, wickedness is in our heart. Grabe, no? You will rarely witness resolute willpower as you find in a toddler who was determined not to obey. Clear directives and thorough reinforcement are essential. Clear lang, i-clarify lang. Hinay-hinay. Never allow your children to disobey without dealing with them. When they disobey, they are moving out of the circle of God's blessing into a place of grave danger. If you understand the fear of the Lord, you will not allow your child to ignore God's law without intervening. Your intervention is turning him back into the circle of blessing. So some parents argue, it is glory to overlook an offense, no? Just as a justification for allowing some disobedience. They do not understand the issue, or we do not understand the issue. Obedience to parents is not a parent-child issue. If it were, the parent could be selective about when he wished to be obeyed. Kasi tayo man ang ang prime authority. But obedience is not simply an issue between the parent and the child. It is an issue between the child and God, in which the parent is God's agent in drawing the child back within the circle of blessing. So kita, agent lang gid gali kita. I mean, agent kita. God's agent in drawing them back to the circle of blessing. It is not a glory to overlook offenses of that sort na okay lang. No? Once the lessons of submissions are learned, they are learned for a lifetime. As I write, ang author, my children are in high school and college. We have not had a contest over the issue of submission for years. God is faithful to His promise. So it will encompass actually tanan nga submission to authority na, to the employer, to the boss, even submission sa iyang mga servants, sa mga employees, no? Na so importante gid ay nga they will learn obedience, submission during this period. Call for consistency na always na i-count nga i-ano tagid sila who is on authority. They have to submit to the Lord, to mommy and daddy because it is safe. Na. Process of appeal kag pattern for appeal. Na. There are guidelines to obey immediately. There is a room for appeal, but the guideline is they have to obey immediately, not after the appeal. They can be prepared to obey either way. They should be prepared to obey either way, and then they should appeal in a respectful manner, and they should accept the result of the appeal with the gracious spirit. If we say no, then they should accept it. So once your children understand that they are creatures under authority and that they cannot always do what they like, you can begin to teach them how to appeal na to their authorities. You cannot accept refusal to obey. You cannot accept obedience only when your children are convinced you are right or fair. You cannot be required to sell them on the propriety of your directives. These issues must be firmly in place. They are non-negotiables. Na dapat they should obey. They cannot refuse. Na they don't have to be convinced you are right or wrong. Na, even if they think na you are wrong, they should still obey. Is that clear? Na, they don't no. maski di sila katsindi nga why amo na ang directive sa ila, they still have to obey. Okay? So you can, however, teach them to appeal to authority. They are not machines. They have ideas and thoughts. Daniel 1 shows us how to appeal to authorities. So it is important to teach your children how to appeal in a respectful manner. The appeal process is a safety valve for the biblical requirement of obedience. So namin, no? It is a safety check in two directions. It is a check against caprice on our part, against pride. Perhaps you have spoken quickly without careful thought. Appeal provides a context for you to resign a directive that was spoken in haste or was inappropriate. And another one, it is a safety valve for your children. They know that they have permission to appeal a directive. They know that mom and dad will honestly reconsider and will resign or mabaligtad the directive if that is good for the individual or family. This keeps the kids from feeling they cannot fight City Hall, no? Nga kanang tyrannical na gid ang rule ni ma'am kag ni dad. The appeal procedure is a good after command safety valve. So there is an important before command safety valve for parents. The wise parent will weigh whether the directive he is giving is necessary and appropriate. For example, imagine ko no, your child is reading in bed. It is time for lights out na. You could simply throw the switch off. Oh, grabe, no? You could tell him to shut off the lights. Either way, that child's duty is to obey. Or you could ask, how many pages? Or you could ask, no, in a nice, how many pages to the end of that chapter? Oh, only a page and a half. Okay, you may finish and then turn off the lights. So I think that's better. Or, as a wise parent, you must exercise sensitivity to your child's needs and wishes as you provide direction. By doing so, you model godly authority that is truly kind and not tyrannical. So good, no? So guidelines and illustration of appeal, pattern for appeal. Pattern for appeal. Here are some important guidelines to follow in making a biblical appeal. Number 1, you begin to obey immediately. Amo na to kanina. And then number 2, you must be prepared to obey, maski yes or no siya. You must appeal in a respectful manner, ang mga bata na. You must accept, kanang mga anak, they must accept the result of the appeal with a gracious spirit, especially if no to siya. Illustration of appeal. Mother says, it is time to go to bed. The child begins to head for bed, and while en route, may ask, is it okay if I finish coloring this picture first? Mother may say, yes, that would be okay. Or she may say, no, dear, you were up late last night. You need your sleep. Whichever the answer, the child must be prepared to obey without challenge, without excuse, and without delay. So it should be our habit to say yes to a request unless there are good reasons to say no. So again, it should be our habit to say yes to a request na reasonable unless there are good reasons to say no. It is easy to say no because we do not want to think through the implications of saying yes. Kasi na-fix na ta, gani nga nag-directive ta, kaya want them to sleep na, tapos na, kapoy na ta, I will sleep also, I will wash the dishes and all, tapos ma-delay ka pa, kundi na-delay man ko. So, it is easy for us. Ang default ta is to say no. But, our habit ko no, should to say yes to a request nga reasonable lang man. Okay? So the benefits of this appeal procedure are obvious. The child has some recourse. He learns to submit to authority in a context that it is not arbitrary, nga random lang, no, nga madness lang ni mommy or ni daddy. He learns to approach his superiors in a respectful manner kay he knows na pamatian siya, paminawan siya. The parent can change his mind in the context of respectful appeal, but not in the presence of blatant rebellion. But if you are not respectful in your appeal, no way. It will never happen. So you should learn. Kay kung mag-appeal sila in a disrespectful manner, tapos pasugtan mo, pwede raman di ay, na. So revise your appeal and then we will see. Okay. Sa importance of example, shepherding your children in godly attitudes. Shepherding or example. Na, the importance of example ka, no? The importance of example. It is so difficult to teach submission to authority in a culture in which we have few models to follow. At one time, adults provided examples of submission to authority. Mom submitted to dad as the head of the house. Dad submitted to his boss. There was a general concept of one's station in life and behaving in the manner appropriate to it. So various liberation movements in the second half of the 20th century have changed all of that feministic view, equality, blah, blah. Since our culture's interest in the equality and dignity of individuals is not rooted in scripture, we have lost the idea of respect for a person because of his or her office or place of authority. Therefore, our children are growing up in a culture with no ready models of submission to authority. So kita, must provide examples of submission for our children. Dads can model this by exercising gracious, biblical authority over family life. And moms through biblical submission to their husbands. It can be done through biblical submission to employers. It can be shown through your relationship to the state and the church. Ensure that your interaction with various authorities are examples of submission. The way you respond to disappointment with your authorities in the society, at the job, in the church, makita na sa mga bata, the way we talk about it in the car, in makita nila na sasabta nila na tanan, no? Teaches your children how to be under authority. The attitudes you display teach either biblical submission or unbiblical independence and rebellion, no, and backbiting and kung ano pa da, slander. So shepherding your children in godly attitudes. A primary concern of this book is the Godward orientation of your children. Shepherding that relationship is one of the primary tasks of parenting, no? Godward orientation. Teaching to submit to authority presents you with beautiful opportunities to shepherd your child's relationship to God. God commands children to obey mom and dad. That is God's directive. Your children must be brought to see that living in God's world as creatures means submission to that good and wise God in all things. The call to submit to mommy and daddy is a call to trust God rather than self. Self tells your child not to submit. Self says, do what you want, when you want it, and how you want it. So what a wonderful opportunity to talk to children about the rebellion of their hearts. Show them how they are inclined to disobey and turn irrationally from what is good for them. Confront them with their weakness and inability to obey God without God's work within. No? What happens to the child who becomes persuaded that obedience is good for him? Do his problems with submission melt away? No. No more than yours do when you know what you should do. Doing what he knows is good. Doing what he knows is good may still elude him. This too takes him to God. He must learn to get hold of God for help and strength to obey. Although convinced na siya, pati kita, convinced nga the way to life and the way to is to obey and to follow, but our flesh will really not follow and obey. It will elude us. It will kwan inang mabuking or iano kita. Oo. So that's why na we must learn to get hold of God for help and strength to obey. The gospel seems irrelevant to the smug child who isn't required to do anything he does not want to do. It seems irrelevant to the arrogant child who has been told all his life how wonderful he is. But the gospel has great relevance for the child who is persuaded that God calls him to do something that is not native to his sinful heart, to joyfully and willingly submit to the authority of someone else. Only the power of the gospel can give a willing heart and the strength to obey. Oo, so hindi gid siya maayo nga dayawon tanong bata no the whole time and all nga as if wala na siya isala. So dapat i-rebuke ta gid no. Kag in that way we will be able to shepherd them to their heart, the issue of heart. Yan. Yan. So benefits of learning to be under authority. Yan yan ang benefit. Ang cross kag ang enabling grace by the Holy Spirit. God has promised the children who honor and obey will have things go well for them and will enjoy long life on earth. Dalawa. Things will go well for them and will enjoy long life on earth. Obviously, the child who submits to parental authority is richly blessed. I grieve to see children who were never taught these principles knocked about by life because of their rebellious and submissive behavior. By contrast, I delight to see parents internalize these principles and raise their children with a healthy respect for and submission to authority. The result is children for whom it does go well. They are respected by their teachers. They are given special opportunities. They are esteemed by their peers in the Christian community. They grow in spiritual insight as they submit to God and walk in wisdom's path. Genuine submission to godly authority bears good fruit. So the child trained in biblical obedience is better able to understand the gospel. The power and, hindi ko kabalo, the power and deeply understood not by those who never face their biblical duties but by those who do. Knowing our native resistance to authority, knowing our inability to do what God has commanded, we are confronted with our need for the grace and power of Jesus Christ. So Paul's prayer that God would work by his Spirit in the inner man in great power takes on relevance. It is only that power that can get your children back to the circle in which God protects and blesses. So what are the secondary lessons of biblical discipline? Even though the child will not be able to fully appreciate the importance of submission, yet training him to do what he ought, regardless of how he feels, no? Kuan siya, mutuo siya na tinuod ng imo nga ginaingon sa iya or dili, na he is under God's authority, he will believe God or no. But still, it prepares him to be a person who lives by principle rather than mood or impulse. Nga wala disiplina, nako, goodness. Oh. So train kita, nang di man gid grabe gid nga tyrannical do sa maunsa kita. At to lang siguro na lito ba nga inang consistency lang gid na hindi lang gid stressful jud kay kung little by little na kay knowing na it's not by our power maski unsaon ta na da ka perfect di sa tanan nga guidelines, if the Lord will not bless our effort wala ni tanan. Oo, so itugyan ta sa Ginoo. So yeah, so murag yun na siya no, kay we see that at work, we see that in the ang wala disiplina na wala jud na ya no, maski dili na siya Christian, kung train siya sa discipline, at least na lang a person who lives by principle and disiplina rather than by mood or impulse nga kung di siya naganahan, di na siya mo walk out na siya, mo leave na siya, mo kuha na siya, mo quit na siya, mo kuha mo depress or unsa pa na nako. So he learns that he cannot trust himself, no? The kid will learn that he cannot trust himself to judge right and wrong. So he must have a reference point outside himself because sooner or later, ano kagidya, i-ano kagidya, ibalik kagid sa cross, no? At least intellectually na balik kagid sa ano. Kay because ang the concept of a creature sa Ginoo, ang Ginoo, yeah, it makes sense gidya dapat mo na although it is ang ano amo gani na nga God reveals himself through the conscience, no? Na so he must have a reference point outside himself. He learns that behavior has moral implications and inevitable outcomes. So yan, benefits, cross and enabling grace. Nga hindi tani kaya maski ari na di, mama daddy, hindi ko gyapon kaya, I can't help myself. Why? Na that's why na we need the power of the Holy Spirit. Save time, do it right. Nakasadya sinisang picture nga humana ang balay, ikot-kot pa ang basement or ang foundation. Na kining author ko no, one winter work was scarce, wala trabaho. Contractor siya. As a contractor, the only work I could find was putting in a basement. Amo lang na ang available. The problem was that the house had already been built. I spent the winter with a crew excavating and pouring walls and floors in the basement. We actually built a basement under the existing house. No, grabe. It was valuable lakefront property, so investment was worthwhile. But he can testify that it's better to build the foundation before you build the house. This issue, submission to authority, is foundational for the entire parent-child relationship. It is possible to build this foundation after the house has been started. Hoy, of course, ang grace kag mercy sang Ginoo knows no bound, right? It is, however, more difficult kuno and more expensive. If your children are young, do it right from the start. Don't let them develop habits of disobedience. Be sure that they learn to obey without challenge, without excuse, and without delay. If your children are older, your task will be a little more difficult. Begin with gracious and kind instruction. Take them to passages like Ephesians 6, help them see the logic and wisdom of being a person under authority. Your goal is to persuade them that even though submission is hard, it is the path of blessing and peace. Peace. Don't waste time trying to sugarcoat. I think this is important also. Don't waste time trying to sugarcoat submission to make it palatable. Submission necessarily means doing what you do not wish to do. Example, submit ka kay palanggaon kapag sa imong husband, kung masubmit ka sa imong teacher, kung gakwan ka, go-obey ka, palanggaon kapag sa imong teacher, okay man siya, but maski palanggaon ka o dili ni teacher or ni husband, you have to submit or obey, right? That's a sugarcoating example lang. True, it is never easy or painless. True biblical submission must be found in knowing Christ and His grace. True biblical submission must be found in knowing Christ and His grace. Don't try to make it something that does not require grace, na as if kaya mo or no, kaya mo, tita na kaya, dili. Don't reduce submission to authority to that which fits natural man and natural abilities. Brahani bala kani mga checklist ni without God's grace, God's enabling grace, hindi pwede. No? We will next look at the training procedures used for children in this period from infancy to childhood in the next chapter ni Kat next week. So save time, do it right. Kaya very expensive basi mo sa guba pa bitibuok na balay na. So this is a very nice picture I saw. Train up a child. Oh, it warms my heart and so yan. Thank you for 4 o'clock. So stop share.